America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, are quote unquote going all in, as Jerry Jones was quoted saying earlier in the offseason. And to say the least, I gotta say, he has quite a definition of all in, as the Cowboys was probably one of the least active teams in free agency, at least in terms of going after major contributors. I want to say the biggest contributor that they picked up was Eric Kendricks, if I'm not mistaken. That was pretty much it. After that, it was pretty much the draft and just little pickups here or there. It's another year with the Dallas Cowboys, man, and I gotta say, this might be the judgment year. This might be the year that Jerry Jones finally says, okay, maybe I got this shit wrong. Maybe it's time to rebuild. Because when he elaborated on his all-in comments, I'm gonna just paraphrase here, but he basically said we have all the pieces in-house, and that if it doesn't work out, then you feel me, changes are coming. And I think there couldn't have been a clearer message than when he didn't resign Dak, right? Because as of August 29th, roughly 10 days before the season start, a week before the opener, I mean, Dak still has not signed a contract, right? So he's entering the final year of his. Michael Parsons is coming up, and we know that's going to be a fat contract. Now, even though he didn't say he was all in, right? He did not say he was all in. After months of negotiating and holding out, or holding in, I guess. Actually, not Lamb was holding out. I'm thinking about Ayuk. Ayuk's holding in. But Lamb finally got his deal done a couple of days ago. 4 years, $136 million. $100 million guaranteed. Worth every penny, in my opinion. One of the best receivers in this league. Top 5 for sure. $34 million a year. Second highest guaranteed. Not even guaranteed. The second highest non-quarterback contract in NFL history. Jay Jettis obviously being number 1. And man, it's going to be interesting, very, very interesting to see how this team looks, because this is basically the same team. Not exactly the same team, but it is roughly the same team. And more importantly, Jerry Jones said he ain't paying nobody till he see what happens in the playoffs. That's basically what he said in that presser. Like, he's like, dude, we got to perform. And honestly, I agree. Because, I mean, we do this every year where we hype up the Cowboys. They have a good regular season. They're going to get you like 12 wins, 11, right? They're going to make the playoffs, probably win the division. If they don't win the division, they definitely going to make the playoffs. And then they disappoint. And then to make things worse this year, specifically, they get Trayvon Diggs back, which is obviously a positive. But they end up losing Bland, which is rough. Very, very rough, because obviously they were anticipating having one of the better corner duos in the league. And now I want to say Bland is out for like 6 to 8 weeks. I'm trying to remember what his injury is. Can't really recall. I want to say it's something with his foot. It's a lower body injury, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, he's definitely hurt. And he's going to be out for probably the first 5 to 6 games, maybe longer. He might end up missing half the season, worst case. So they're going to have to figure something out in that secondary, because I'm going to be quite honest with you, I'm not even sure who's the corners after him and Diggs. So that's going to be interesting to see, right? And once again, they have not paid Dak. And I feel like that is probably the biggest what if, in my opinion, because I think this is probably Dak's last year in Dallas. I don't think Dallas is, like, I mean, let's really be honest about it. They've already had issues, you feel me, getting a contract done with Dak multiple times. Like, it's not the first rodeo with having issues getting a contract done. And then now we got quarterbacks like Jordan Love tying Burrow, right? Lawrence tying Burrow for the highest paid quarterback at 55. And obviously, if there's one market that's going to keep going up, it's probably quarterback, which is probably why he had to go ahead and play Lamb, because you don't want it to keep going up and up and up, right? Get Lamb deal out the way. You'll worry about Parsons on the back end, but it seems clear to me that Dak is going to end up being the odd man out. Now, I know that sounds crazy, right? Because if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have nothing in this league, at least according to most analysts. But if I'm Jerry Jones, man, I think this might be it. Like, I'm not giving Dak $60 million. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I mean, you have 2 playoff wins in 8 years. Yes, you've had a few moments, but at the end of the day, you're just not getting it done. At the end of the day, no matter how you want to slice it, you can blame Dak, you can blame who you want. Now, obviously, I made that video roughly 8 months ago about their recent playoff loss. Now, that loss I do somewhat put on Dak more than previous losses, right? But at the end of the day, you can scapegoat who you want. If I'm Jerry Jones, I ain't paying that man $60 million. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. You don't have a good enough team to be paying him $60 million. Like, your offensive line is decent, but you still got a question at tackle, specifically with probably going to end up starting Guyton, I want to say. Yeah, Guyton. You probably end up starting him as a rookie. And I would pray they don't have that Steele. I think his name is Steele, that right tackle. Yeah, he was not good last year. I hope they don't have him no more. I think they still do. Not 100% sure about that one, but their line is, I would say, mid at best. They probably towards like the upper half of the league, but like they're not as good as you would think. Gonna have a rookie starting. It's gonna be interesting to see. And I mean, I have even mentioned the running back situation, right? You lose Tony Pollard, who everybody was gassing for years, and he was mid at best his first year starting like as the lead back. You end up with Zeke again, which honestly, I don't even know how to feel about Zeke at this point in his career. Like, everybody wants to call him washed. I think he still has value, right? Specifically in the goal line, right? Once you inside that 10, I think Zeke can bring a lot of value to your backfield, but that's to be determined. Got the Dow kid. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. He was all right last year. And then they just recently signed Dalvin Cook. So the backfield is definitely interesting, but I don't think their run game is going to be that good, on top of the fact that, right, even though they won the division last year, this division, specifically the Eagles, have definitely improved. I don't think the Commanders are going to be as bad as they were last year. Jaden Daniels is definitely going to make a difference. So Jerry said he all in, man, and I don't know if they're going to go anywhere. I really don't. Like, they're probably going to make the playoffs, but I truly could see this team being one and done again. And like I said, man, if I'm Jerry Jones, man, this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, man. I don't know if he paid Dak $60 million, but that will be to be determined.